Hey my beautiful girls and my handsome boys, welcome back again to your favorite channel, the favorite astrology channel, the one and only JupiVen Astrology. And today we will gonna talk about the Rahu Ketu Axis. Okay, yeah. So today we will talk about Rahu Ketu when placed in the different signs. So we will talk about the full axis, that means both Rahu and Ketu. Okay, not like the separate. We will talk about separate in some future video, but in this video we will talk about the combined Rahu Ketu. Okay, because it is a full axis, 1-7 axis. Rahu Ketu always plays 1-7 from each other, right? So we will talk about them when placed in different signs in your chart. So what are the results that you can see?
Guys, I would like to tell you before you move forward, you can directly take consultation from us. We have created a website now. It's so simple. You can go there, link in description and the comment section below. You can just click there and just click of a button, you can just simply purchase directly consultation from us as the instruction are given on the website, and then we will just help you out in the consultation. Okay guys, so for that, links are in comment section and description. You can purchase consultation also.
Now guys, like any other planet, the sign placement of Rahu Ketu determine I can say to quite an extent the way they will behave in a native chart, right? One can determine the way these Rahu Ketu nodes will function in your chart by combining their nature according to in which sign they are placed. Okay, so as per that we will see that what are the things that's happening in your chart as per Rahu Ketu in different sign. Okay, so yeah, let's see that. So now let's directly start with what will gonna happen when Ketu is placed in the sign of Aries and Rahu is placed in the sign of Libra. So this is like a full one thing. If Ketu is placed in your Aries sign, that means Rahu will automatically place in the sign of Libra in your chart. Okay, so Ketu in Aries, Rahu in Libra. If this is the placement, then what will gonna happen in your chart? So Ketu presence in the, like I can say, the sign of Aries is like, Aries is an impulsive sign. Okay, so it signifies the Martian tendencies and talent come naturally to you. Okay, the Martian, that means the fighting and the military related things, these talent are naturally inside you. This is due to the fact that you involve, or I can say you spend your past life in the martial pursuits. Okay, right? So like, and the focus is on yourself. So what I'm just trying to say is that if you have Ketu in the Aries and Rahu in the sign of Libra, it is telling me that in the past life, definitely there is a pretty high chances that you have spent your life in the, what I can say, in some military or any martial related activities. So these talents are naturally inside you. Okay, because wherever Ketu is placed in your chart, those things are you born with, like inherent talent. Although in this life you are detached from those things, but still if you give a little push, you can easily do thing related to that house. But generally Ketu where placed, person is detached from that place, due to which you might be detached from such things in this life. Okay, so we can say the significance of sign of Aries is independence, self-expression, okay, innovativeness, initiative, impulsiveness, okay, or I can say combativeness, like combat qualities. These things form your backbone, or I can say backbone of your personality. These things are when Ketu is placed in the sign of Aries and Rahu is placed in the sign of Libra. So Ketu is a sort, like I can say, Ketu is sort of like a home in Aries. Okay, as Aries is the beginning of the things, and so it is the Ketu. Ketu, I can say, Ketu is placed in the sign of Aries and Aries ruler is Mars. Okay, and we also know that Ketu have, or I can say, let me just tell you, Ketu also have some qualities similar to that of Mars. Okay, and even in this sign Ketu will behave as a Mars because it is sitting in the sign of Mars, which is Aries. So this is a friendly placement for Ketu, first of all, right? Because not only like the Ketu is placed in the sign of Aries, but also the Ketu's nature is like Mars, so it's a kind of a friendly placement, we can see. This would mean that Ketu wouldn't give too much trouble in this sign. Okay, so it is generally okay, or I can say good in this sign. Okay, in the major inner periods of Ketu. Now there is always an exception, that if let's say Ketu is highly influenced by malefics, okay, in that case there is a high chances of or I can say there is some chances of problem. For that, full horoscope consultation is required. Of course, links are given in description. Now guys, although it is placed in a friendly sign here, all these things till now I have discussed, these things are there with Ketu in the sign of Aries. Now this is however an explosive placement, as Ketu is a fiery planet. Okay, so yeah, and Aries is a fiery sign. Ketu is a fiery planet and Aries is a fiery sign. So it is an explosive kind of placement, because like there is a lot of heat here, right? Because fiery planet in the fiery sign. This placement also represents that such native may not always guided by logic or reason. Okay, sometimes extreme anger, unusual ideas, unusual taste we can say, okay, are also common with this placement. Okay, so person could have, with such placement, Ketu in the Aries and Rahu in the Libra, person could have unusual taste of things, unusual ideas in his mind. That could also be possible. So yeah, now guys, when Ketu is placed in the sign of Aries, at the same time 7 places away Rahu is placed in the sign of Libra. Okay, so as we are talking about the full axis, now let's talk about the Rahu part. When Ketu is placed in your Aries sign, then Rahu is placed in your Libra sign. Now again, Rahu is also placed in a friend sign, which is Libra. Okay, why? Because Libra road is Venus. Okay, and Rahu share a good relationship with the Venus. So Rahu is placed in the Libra, so it is in its friendly sign. Its presence in the Libra bring out Venusian side of Rahu. Okay, so it means when Rahu is placed in the Libra sign, it will behave like Venus. Okay, so in the periods of Rahu, maybe person behave like Venus, person maybe invest or spend money on luxurious things, perfume, clothes and all that. Okay, or maybe in Venus Rahu period, Venus period, you will see that. Okay, that could be possible. It is actually one of the most diplomatic placements. Okay, in fact I would say one of the most diplomatic placement if you see in any sign, a planet is placed, because Rahu, the intelligent and a very clever planet, is now placed in the sign of Venus, which is Libra. Okay, so it makes this person very diplomatic also. That could also be possible. Now because Rahu is placed in the Libra, so because of Libra impulses in the present life, you, the person who have Rahu in the Libra and Ketu in the Aries, this person, that means you, it is usually seen that you guys try to develop signification of the sign Libra, which is what? Which is balance, which is harmony, okay, which is justice, which is relationships, which is partnership, okay, which is sublimation of yourself, okay, etc, etc. So that could also be seen. So with this, the present life can be seen as a bit of rest after martial struggle in the past life. Are you getting my point? That is why I try to explain something regarding this whole nodal axis, or this 1-7 axis of Rahu Ketu. When Ketu is placed in the Aries and Rahu in the Libra, so from Ketu placement you are detached, because in the past life you have spent it in the martial traits and all that, and now today you are like in this life, today means in this life you have Rahu in the sign of Libra. So you will, wherever the Rahu is in this life, you will follow the Rahu. So you will spend most of your time in Rahu in Libra related things, Venus related things. So it is like for you, destiny is giving you in this life rest after like last time Martian fight and all that. That could be possible. With this placement of Rahu in the Libra and Ketu in the Aries, or I can say Ketu in the Aries and Rahu in the Libra, it basically like I can say you basically or native basically learn to achieve a balance between self-sufficiency and dependence upon others. Okay, here Rahu teaches you how to balance, like how to make a balance between your own dependence and dependence upon other, which like on dependence you can say self-sufficiency, right? There is a conscious effort to maintain and further relationship that sometimes can be exaggerated, making the person to appear as a people pleaser. Okay, let me repeat myself again. There is a conscious effort to maintain and like the further relationship can be exaggerated, making the person to appear as a people pleaser, which means that with such placement it appears that because Rahu in this sign, as I already told you, make you a bit diplomatic also. Rahu in the Libra and Ketu in the Aries, or Ketu in the Aries, Rahu in the Libra can make you a diplomatic person. So with such placement it is seen that it make you a very people pleaser, like a person people see like, oh my god, this person is just like, his personality is in a way that he can influence people very easily, or he can please people. That could be possible, or people feel really nice when he's talking to him, something like that. Now guys, you may also see that when Ketu is placed in the Aries and Rahu is placed in the Libra, such native are usually try to cover up his or her strong sense of individuality to appear more friendly and receptive of other views. Okay, that you can also see, right? Like in reality, what is being sought is the ideal of independence, where one goes to be what one is and at the same time work in tandem with others for achieving a common goal. Now the placement of Rahu in Libra and Ketu in Aries is usually seeks spirituality through ethical actions and thoughts. Okay, knowledge and action are given importance, and thus Gyan, or I can say knowledge yoga and Karam yoga are best suited for native with such placement. Okay, so that could also be possible, that this guy want to learn some knowledge, he just try to, like who have Rahu in Libra and Ketu in Aries, or I can say Ketu in Aries, Rahu in Libra, he try to be more diplomatic, more friendly, somehow he just trying to behave like more friendly with others. That could be possible. And interest, or I can say suited thing for him is like knowledge, and focus on karma or work. That could be possible with such placement. Now guys, as you know, Ketu is placed in the sign of Aries, so the karmic past life control planet for such placement, when Ketu is placed in the sign of Aries and Rahu in Libra, for the karmic past life control planet is Mars. Why? Because Ketu is placed in the sign of Aries and Aries ruler is Mars, and Ketu is showing you your past. So that is why Mars is your life control planet in this case, the karmic past life control planet. Okay, and the karmic distribution of present life, I can say the karmic distribution control planet is Venus for you. Why? Because Rahu is placed in the sign of Libra, which is whose ruler is Venus. The placement of Mars, wherever Mars is placed in your chart now, shows where I can say you has like, or I can say you have to play your dues for the past life actions. And the placement of Venus show the area where you receive help for furthering your course in the present life. Okay, so when Ketu is placed in the sign of Mars, which is Aries, Ketu is placed in the sign of Aries and Rahu is placed in the sign of I can say Libra. So the placement of Venus show you areas where you receive help, okay, so that you can just work further for your things that you have to do in this life. Okay, wherever Venus is placed, you will get help from those places, and wherever Mars is placed, it show that where you have to pay your dues of the past life, like whatever things are left, you have to pay those things, okay, of your past life, wherever Ketu placement ruler, or I can say Ketu dispositor is placed, which is Mars. Okay, that tell that. So yeah, now guys, since Rahu is placed in the sign of Libra, which is a friendly sign, so this placement of Rahu has the capacity to fulfill the material ambition of you. Okay, if there is other favorable supporting influence in the chart, let's say some other planets are also supporting such placement, in that case definitely Rahu help you to fulfill your material desires in life. Okay, so yeah, so guys, this is all about Ketu in Aries and Rahu in Libra. I hope this help you, and if you want consultation, links are given in the description. And now we will move on to our next placement, which is Ketu in Taurus and Rahu in Scorpio. So what will gonna happen when Ketu is placed in the sign of Taurus and Rahu is placed in the sign of Scorpio, right? In such case, what we will see. So when Ketu is placed in the sign of Taurus and Rahu is placed in the sign of Scorpio, first of all, Ketu presence in the earthy sign, which is Taurus. Taurus is an earthy sign. It is an indicator of some artistic talent, right? Or I can say, or an exaggerated Venusian tinge in the nature of you. Okay, such native is usually aesthetically oriented and exhibit a heightened sensitivity for refinement in the material realm. Okay, you will see that when Ketu is placed in the sign of Taurus and Rahu is placed in the sign of Scorpio. Now when Ketu is placed in the sign of Taurus, it shows that the past life of you, okay, or I can say such person, usually have been stable past life. Okay, as far as the material security is concerned, I'm talking about that in the past life. Now however, in this life you have to go through a period of uncertainty in this regard. Okay, because you have experienced good things regarding that in the past life. Okay, especially in the first half of his or her life, or I can say your life, you know, in the first half of your life. Okay, you will definitely have to face some challenges regarding this success. Okay, or in a simple way, we can also say that the material success in your life comes after struggle if you have Ketu in the Taurus and Rahu in the Scorpio. It may also possible that in many cases you have to try twice. Okay, because you try something for gaining material success and you fail, then you're gonna have to do that again. With such placement, when Ketu is placed in the Taurus and Rahu in Scorpio, that could be possible. The second half of your life is usually more enjoyable when Ketu is placed in the Taurus and Rahu in the Scorpio. It is also seen that the second half of your life is more enjoyable in comparison to your first half. You will also see that. Now when Ketu is placed in the Taurus and Rahu is placed in the Scorpio, the lesson here you have to learn is not to be too attached to the material world. Okay, you should understand that lesson here planets are teaching you is to not to be too attached to the material world. Okay, because Ketu is placed in the sign, so it want you to be, because you have experienced good thing regarding the sign of Taurus, you know, which is material success in the past life. So in this life you must, generally I think you will be detached, but if you are not, you just try to not too much attachment it is talking about. It is talking about that having too much attachment to the materialistic thing will give you problems. Okay, because if you just try to do things where Ketu is placed more and more, then where the Ketu give problem. But if you just try to, you're like, okay, whatever, I don't care, then these things come easily. Okay, the quality of the sign Taurus is like the earthy sign. It is fixed, it represents stability, it represents acquiring, it represents refining, it represents accumulating, idealism in love, beauty, relationship, etc. Okay, it forms the backbone of of you. Okay, these qualities form your backbone. Okay, why we talk about the backbone? Because of Ketu, right? Now because of this, when Ketu is placed in the sign of Taurus, because of this Rahu is also placed in the sign of Scorpio. So now Rahu presence in this mysterious sign of Scorpio, okay, it show that native has to confront the Scorpion realm, which is death, abstraction, death, destruction, regeneration, renewal, depth, intensity, passion, obsession, sexuality, right? And the, I can say, continuing battle between the light and the dark, right? Rahu is supposed to be neutral towards Mars, and so this is, I can say, a neutral sign placement for Rahu. Okay, as discussed earlier, Scorpio is one of Rahu favorite sign besides being its Mool Trikon signs. Okay, this is an extreme sort of placement, as Rahu can magnify and bring out the usually hidden Scorpion energies to the surface. Okay, that's what Rahu do. Rahu will try to find out and decodes the hidden thing. Okay, even you see Rahu represent hacking and decoding and opening up of things. Ketu represent coding. Ketu is like making things which is scattered and code it and put it into a small setup, and then Rahu is like, okay, you have put it into a small setup, I will break it and I will just scattered it. So Rahu is like breaking the software, hacking the software, all those things, and opening up the things is Rahu. Now see, this is a very uncontrollable type of energy, although, okay, very intense placement of planet, because Rahu is placed in the sign of Scorpio, kind of like Ketu sign, right? It is placed here in the Ketu sign, although it also show that the Mars sign, but also the Ketu sign. So it also represent that, like Rahu is placed in the Scorpio and Ketu and placed in the sign of Taurus, it represents a lot of reforms. Okay, like, or I can say a lot of reformers, revolutionary person, people who are revolutionary, rebels, soldiers, social workers, spy, detectives, researchers, okay, in every field, astrologer, philosophers, people who are in occult, palmistry, tarot card reading, okay, and other people who are involved in desires, like very different, unique kind of professions, okay, are born with such placement, like the spy, government spy, private detective. Okay, any vocation which involve an element of danger suits this career. Okay, you will see that. So yeah, these things can also be seen. Now in such placement, when Rahu is placed in the sign of Scorpio, Ketu is placed in the sign of Taurus, or we can say Ketu is placed in the sign of Taurus, Rahu is placed in the Scorpio, Venus become the karmic sanction control planet. Okay, why the Mars become the karmic distribution control planet for this placement? The position where Venus is placed in your chart highlight the latent talent, okay, that you have from the past life, and the house where Mars is placed, it signifies the area where the drive and opportunity lie in the present life. Okay, so when Ketu is placed in the sign of Taurus and Rahu is placed in the sign of Scorpio, wherever the Venus is placed, it show you the inherent, or I can say inhibit qualities that you have from the past life. And wherever the Rahu is played, it shows that these are the places where you will proceed, where you will focus in this life. Okay, so yeah, these are the things you can see when Rahu is placed in the sign of Scorpio and Ketu in the sign of Taurus, or we can say Ketu is placed in the sign of Taurus and Rahu is placed in the sign of Scorpio. So guys, this is all about this placement. If you want personal consultation, links are given in the description. And now let's talk about our next sign, which is Ketu is placed in the Gemini and Rahu is placed in the sign of Sagittarius. So what will gonna happen when in your chart Ketu is placed in the sign of Gemini and Rahu is placed in the sign of Sagittarius? So my beautiful girls and my handsome boys, now let's just talk about what will gonna happen when Ketu is placed in the sign of Gemini and Rahu is placed in the sign of Sagittarius. In this axis, what will gonna happen? Because when Ketu will place in the sign of Gemini, then of course 7 places away from that is the sign of Sagittarius. So Rahu will automatically get placed in the sign of Sagittarius. So first of all, the presence of Ketu in the sign of Twins, which means that the sign of Gemini, when Ketu is placed in the sign of Gemini, it makes the native, okay, it makes the native pursue the mercurial realm, right, okay, which means it makes the native somehow to pursue the Mercury realm. The native is usually very keen on gathering information, okay, because of Mercury curious nature is come inside that person, so he or she want to gather information. That kind of nature can be seen. This information may be in diverse field. Okay, you will also notice that then when Ketu come in the sign of Gemini and Rahu in Sagittarius, this person will gather various information in diverse field. Okay, and so he might not have chance to I can say dig deep into anything, because he has so much like thinking that let's gather information about this thing, let's gather information about that thing, maybe let's study something about homeopathy, then study about palmistry, then study about astrology, then study about something else, study about Ayurveda. So that kind of a nature can be seen. So information overdose in this information age cannot be ruled out for this placement. Okay, so yeah, he will definitely, you can call this that most of the jack of all trade type people belongs to such combination, which means most of the people who are like jack of all trade, you will find, like you may notice sometime that you may meet some people, they have information about politics, they can talk about maybe sports, they can talk about education, they can talk about medicines, they can talk about astrology, they can talk about fashion, they can talk about everything. They are the jack of all trades. So such people generally have this kind of a combination. They have Ketu in the Gemini and Rahu in the Sagittarius, or maybe Gemini energy is very strong in the chart. Okay, so we are talking right now about Ketu in Gemini and Rahu in Sagittarius. So yeah, this is, you can see the native is also given to spend a lot of time with siblings and his immediate neighbor. Okay, or I can say in his or her neighborhood. It may also possible that native may spend time who have Ketu in the Gemini and Rahu in Sagittarius. Now you may also notice that he or she can have some time, like this placement can make them a person who sometime go out and go out in his or in her own way to help others. Okay, and when such situation is happen to extreme, like he is just going and helping and doing this and that, it means that this person, this native who have the Ketu in the Gemini and Rahu in Sagittarius, this native will have very little time for his or her personal pursuit. You will also see that, right? Now when you have Ketu in the Gemini and Rahu in the Sagittarius, humor is one of the strong point of this placement. You will definitely see that,
right? Because Mercury humor will definitely natural to this person. Communication is the forte of such natives. Okay, communication is the forte of such natives. A big help in this media centric time. You can understand that. Now, Ketu, generally we can say that the Ketu share a neutral relationship with the Mercury, and thus it can be seen as a neutral sign placement of Ketu. One shouldn't expect too many material gains from the Ketu, from a, we can say, Ketu major or internal period, like when a person go through the Ketu period, whether it's like the sub period of Ketu or major period, you can't expect much material gains regarding this. In fact, it's like a period, this period cause a lot of, we can say, abrupt changes in your life, who has Ketu in the Gemini and Rahu in the Sagittarius. Okay, especially when Ketu is placed in the Gemini and you go through Ketu period, so you may experience maybe very abrupt changes in your life. A philosophical and contented attitudes need to be maintained, okay, as this can be very restless period also. Because see, if you are gay, you have Ketu in the Gemini and Rahu in the Sagittarius, and you are going through Ketu period, which means that Ketu will behave as Mercury, so it will make you very restless. Okay, that's why it is said that is a very philosophical and kind of attitude is required in this period, right? Now, when you have Ketu in the Gemini, at the same time you have Rahu in the Sagittarius. So the presence of Rahu in the optimistic Sagittarius sign brings the 9th house of Aries generally, okay, which is like the religion, philosophy, psychology, ethics, code, right, universal law and functioning, etc. And right now I'm not talking about your 9th house, I'm talking about Sagittarius, because Sagittarius in Kalpurush Kundli represent the 9th house. That is what I'm talking about. Okay, so it brings such affairs like the religion, philosophy, psychology, ethics, code, universal law and functioning, etc. in your life. So these things into the center stage of your life, you will definitely see that it brings, Rahu brings. This native has to learn to look at the bigger picture. Okay, if you have this placement Ketu in Gemini and Rahu in the Sagittarius, you have to learn to look at the bigger picture, as there is a tendency to get lost in small details. So you have to look at the bigger picture as well, okay, because otherwise it gives you tendency to lost in the small details. Respect for other point of view and openness needs to be cultivated with such placement. Okay, you will have to understand this as well. When you have Ketu in the Gemini and Rahu in the Sagittarius, it will make you a native or a person who usually able to develop like their own philosophy of life. Okay, so it may possible that when you have this placement, it will make you a person who can like develop their own philosophy, like they are like, okay, life must be like that, these things are restrictions, these samajik barriers and the social barriers are not good. So something like that can be seen, but care needs to be taken so that it is not forcefully forced down others' thought. Okay, so what I'm saying is that when you have Rahu in the Sagittarius and Ketu in Gemini, or I can say Ketu in Gemini, Rahu in Sagittarius, in such cases you may develop your own philosophy, okay, of life, but you need to be very careful also, so that you forcefully not I can say force down the other thoughts. So you like for an example, you have this philosophy that marriage is not good, live-in relationship is bad. Marriage is not good, live-in relationship is amazing, we have to live in relationship with multiple women. Let's say you have that. I'm not saying that it's good or bad, it depends upon type of person you are. But let's say you said that one marriage is not good, I want to have at least 2-3 relationship and I want to just enjoy the live-in relationship, I don't like marriage. Let's say you have this philosophy, just for an example, understand this, for understanding this situation.
and let's say there is some other person come in front of you, he said no, marriage is good thing, you have to just marry a one girl and that's it, that is for your life. Okay, I don't care how good or bad the relation with that woman is, if you get married to that woman you have to be with her, okay, or whatever. So but you have a very different opinion, you have an opinion of live-in relationship and multiple relationships, that person have one relationship and marriage opinion. So what happen is that with such placement you may start to bend down that other person, that no, your opinion is wrong, my opinion of multiple relationship is good. So that's what I'm trying to say, that if you have such a situation that you always bend down, try to bend other people down by your opinion and thought, then try to avoid that. Okay, you might have opinion for like your life something, so you can live like that, but it doesn't mean that everyone will have the same like that of you. Now you may also notice one thing, that a great number of intellectuals, philosophers, media persons, researchers will have this axis placement, that means Rahu in Sagittarius and Ketu in Gemini, or we can say Ketu in Gemini and Rahu in Sagittarius. This placement you may see in many intellectual, philosophical, media person and researchers people. Okay, now if I would like to sum up this wonderful combination of Ketu in Gemini and Rahu in Sagittarius, this is like the combination for learning, for sharing, for communicating in a pleasant way. Okay, as pleasant as possible. Okay, for our planet, try to communicate in a very pleasant way. That is the kind of a situation it forms. Now if balance is established between these two opposite tendencies, okay, so we can say that this is one of the most fortunate combination to be born under, if you can somehow able to establish the balance between two opposite forces. Now this placement of Ketu in Gemini and Rahu in Sagittarius usually strive for spirituality through knowledge and right action. It has an intellectual curiosity about occult path, but usually keep a distance from them. Okay, in some cases when the placement involve devotional houses, like for example 4th house, 4th house, 5th house, 8th house and 12th house, okay, it further devotion to a cause or deity as a way of attaining salvation. You will also see that Jupiter and Mercury are karmic control planet. Jupiter and Mercury are karmic control planets. Okay, Jupiter's house placement defines the new area of growth, while Mercury's house placement defines the latent talents of the person. I'm telling you again, Jupiter's house placement defines the new area of growth, while the Mercury placement defines the latent talents of the person. Okay, so guys, this is all about this placement of Ketu in the Gemini and Rahu in the Sagittarius. And if you want personal consultation, links are given in the description below, and I hope this help you. And now let's talk about what will gonna happen when Ketu is placed in the sign of Cancer and Rahu is placed in the sign of Capricorn. Let's talk about what will gonna happen when Ketu is placed in the sign of Cancer and Rahu is placed in the sign of Capricorn. Okay, so see, when Ketu is placed in the sign of Cancer and Rahu in Capricorn, Ketu presence in this Cancer sign is an indicator of developed feeling nature. Some people are like, they have feeling nature, they feel things very quickly. Okay, and Ketu presence in this sign of Cancer can show that. So it shows that it is an indicator of developed feeling nature due to repeated past life experiences. So when you have Ketu in the sign of Cancer and Rahu is placed in the sign of Capricorn, so it shows that the person will definitely have a feeling kind of a nature due to something happened maybe in their past life, some bad experiences or anything they have, due to which they become quite sensitive, or like they become very, they feel things very seriously. That's the kind of a nature this Ketu make. This sense of, or I can say this Ketu Rahu Ketu Axis make, the sense of home and family is quite important in such natives life. When you have Ketu in the sign of Cancer and Rahu in the Capricorn, so we can say the home, family, these things become very important for this person, right? Because of the presence of this Ketu Rahu axis or Rahu Ketu axis. Here, like they may have some natural nurturing capacity or nurturing quality, caring quality, and they may also have, sometime it is seen, the people who have Ketu in the sign of Cancer, Rahu in the Capricorn, they may also have a desire to be placed in situation where they can where they can be of help like to others within their immediate family or social circle, because it make person feeling nature, very nurturing nature. Okay, so that is the kind of a nature this Ketu and Rahu axis make, if you have this placement. Also you will see that when Ketu is placed in the sign of Cancer and Rahu in Capricorn, this axis definitely in this person there is a strong attachment to the home, to the family and to the motherland. You will definitely see that attachment to the homeland, to the motherland can be seen, and native feel reluctant to venture out of their protective Cancerian shell. Okay, you will also see that because of this placement of Ketu in the Cancer and Rahu in the Capricorn. They can appear very laid back and calm, okay, on an outer level, but can be highly strung on an inner level and can react very quickly to the situation. Okay, I'm repeating again, they can appear very laid back and calm on an outer level, but they can be highly strung on an inner level and can react very quickly to the situations. You will definitely see this thing when you have Ketu in the sign of Cancer and Rahu in the sign of Capricorn. Also you will notice one more thing, I have seen that when such placements are there, these people will have struggle more in the first half of their life, and the second half of their life is much better in comparison to the first half of their life, right? Because they may experience a lot in the first half of their life, due to which it make them make their nature feeling nature. You will also notice that Ketu, when placed in the sign of Cancer and Rahu in the Capricorn, in this axis Ketu always give some deprivation of happiness in regards to all Cancerian effects, which means that such as deprivation of happiness in relationships, in home, with the mother, like roots of emotional needs, happiness in the early childhood, property matter, all the Cancerian related thing, which is 4th house related matter. Ketu definitely give deprivation of happiness to this native who have Ketu in the sign of Cancer and Rahu in the Capricorn. In this axis you will definitely notice that native usually find difficulty in pursuing profession related to agriculture, dairy, farming, nurturing, okay, driving vehicle, restaurant business and other such occupation requiring a Cancerian touch. So whatever the profession related to the 4th house and the sign of Cancer related profession which require also caring and all the 4th house related profession, you may feel or you may experience many problem in those profession when you have Ketu in the sign of Cancer and Rahu in the Capricorn. In this axis you will also notice this. When Ketu is placed in the sign of Cancer, at the same time Rahu is placed in the sign of Capricorn. So when Rahu is placed in the sign of Capricorn, on the other hand, it shows that Rahu in the Capricorn on the other hand wants to step out of the immediate environment and achieve some concrete goals. Okay, because I already told you that when you have Rahu Ketu, always this is an axis of 1-7. So when Ketu is placed in the sign of Cancer, so opposite to that Rahu is placed in the sign of Capricorn. So in such situation you will definitely see that Rahu when placed in the Capricorn, on the other hand, the person want to step out of the immediate environment and achieve some concrete goal. It may also possible. Okay, it is definitely a career oriented energy because Rahu is placed in the sign of Capricorn, which is naturally the 10th house of the zodiac. So it is a career related energy, okay, which is similar to the placement of Rahu in the 10th house. Okay, we can already see that a balancing of energy is required if the native, as described by the Ketu in the sign of Cancer, have to achieve Capricorn goals where Rahu is placed. Okay, so here the balance is definitely required, because see, when Ketu is placed in the sign of Cancer, you are over like sensitive, and then you are like crying, and then you are feeling things. If you are not balancing, then you are not able to focus on. If you become too much emotional like that, then you're like too much focus on those things, then definitely you ignore the Rahu placement, which is the career part. So if you balance, if you just try to control your emotions in a way so that there is a balance of Rahu Ketu, then only you can also focus on your career, okay, to achieve your concrete goal. That's what it is talking about, right? There is a definitely, you will also see that there is a constant struggle between the family life and the career in such native life who have Ketu in the sign of Cancer and Rahu in the Capricorn. You will also see that in this axis, you will also see this result. Giving enough time and emotional attention to the family is very important to you guys. Okay, you guys are secretive about your feeling, and thus you may appear as a shy and a reserved person, and even some people see you as a very suspicious person, okay, for outside people, because see, because you are secretive person about your feelings, so people think that this guy is a shy, or this girl is shy, he or she is reserved. Or some people who are like maybe unknown, they think, oh, he or she is very suspicious. Due to this placement, that can also be seen. Okay, now when Ketu is placed in this, when Ketu is placed in the sign of Cancer and Rahu in the Capricorn, you may also see that one can expect them to be doing well in a like on career level if the family life is also doing well. Okay, in this axis you will also see that if the family life is doing well, so their career will also be like, they can also perform good in career, okay, because then there is a balance in this axis. Okay, now these guys are the easygoing type in the outer world if everything is right at the home. Otherwise they can be, you know, worst kind of people to deal with, right? So if you have such placement of Ketu in the Cancer and around the Capricorn, if your family life is good, then definitely you will see that its positive effect will be on your career as well. Your career will also be good. But if your family life is suffering, then definitely frustration can be seen on your career as well. Now that can be true for everyone, but especially for you guys, it's like almost 100%, we can say. It may also possible that you guys have a tightly knit small circle of friends, okay, and do not socialize on a wide scale, you guys. That could also be possible with this placement. Now guys, you may also notice that many mass leaders, politicians, organizers, executors, managers, people working in the big organization have this placement, which is Rahu in the Capricorn and Ketu in the sign of Cancer. Okay, native with this placement take a long time to step out of their shell. There's like, you know, they are only able to find their social role in the later half of their life. Okay, that's why it is said that the second half of their life is much better if you have Rahu in the Capricorn and Ketu in the Cancer, or we can say Ketu in the Cancer, Rahu in the Capricorn. In this axis, second half of your life is better, because see, even Capricorn is a slow sign, so even if we talk about the success, it comes slowly, especially in the second half of your life. You will see that because it is the sign of Saturn, so everything will be slowed down. You will definitely see that. That is why it is said that the second half of your life is much better when you have this axis. Okay, now you will like you should understand, when you have Ketu in the Cancer and Rahu in the Capricorn, patience and perseverance are the two key qualities which have to be kept operating throughout your life. Okay, because there is always a tendency to crawl back into your shells if things were not working well out in your career. So you will also notice that. So patience and perseverance, these are the two key qualities which you must have to kept with you. Okay, mark these. These are the things which are really important. Now guys, you may also notice that, see, Rahu is in a friendly sign in the Capricorn and is thus capable of bestowing or throwing material success to the native. So definitely it will give you material success with this placement, but in the second half of their life it will give you slowly. Okay, and the Capricorn is a slow sign, it is a sign of Saturn, so it will give you success, but it will give you slowly. Okay, you will see that. So this is all about this placement. And even you may notice that Albert Einstein have this placement. So yeah, so guys, this is all about Ketu in the sign of Cancer and Rahu in the Capricorn. If you want personal consultation, links are given in the description. And now let's just talk about what will gonna happen when Ketu is placed in the sign of Leo and Rahu is placed in the sign of Aquarius. Oh my beautiful girls and my handsome boys, we will gonna see that what will gonna happen. Ketu is placed in the sign of Leo and Rahu is placed in the sign of Aquarius. Okay, so when Ketu is placed in the sign of Leo and Rahu is placed in the sign of Aquarius, okay, so the presence of Ketu in the sign of Leo gives a well developed solar nature, okay, as a result of past life. This automatically implies that the native is usually very conscious of their individuality. Okay, so definitely when you have this Ketu in the Leo and Rahu in Aquarius, you can be very conscious about your individuality, right? There is a certain degree of pride and self-absorption, okay, seen with this placement. Okay, you may definitely notice that about you, that there could be pride and self-absorption, right? This placement of Ketu in Leo and Rahu in Aquarius can make you a very dignified person. Okay, a lot of your actions are fueled by a need for respect and authority. Okay, so when we do something, we do some action, we need, or do anything in our life, we take actions, so we need some fuel. Like the fuel I'm talking about is something for some people the fuel is to make money, for some people is to some other desire, for some people is to become successful, so some people is to show to society. So for you guys, when you have Ketu in Leo and Rahu in Aquarius, for you guys the fuel is for doing any kind of action is that you need respect and also you need authority in your life. Okay, so that is the thing. It can when Rahu is placed in the Aquarius and Ketu in Leo, or I can say Ketu in Leo, Rahu in Aquarius, so it can it can make you person that we can say that you are the kind who never likes to commit acts that are wrong or criminal for the fear of tarnishing your reputation and self-image. Okay, I'm repeating again, when you have Ketu in the Leo and Rahu in the Aquarius, of course, so it make you kind of a person who can never likes to commit acts that are wrong or criminal activities generally. Of course other combination have to be seen, but generally this is seen. Okay, because you do not want to create any bad reputation or self-image about yourself, so that is why it is seen. So we can see that as a positive thing. Your self-image is for the most part guided by how others perceive you. Okay, so when you have Ketu in Leo and Rahu in Aquarius, so your self-image, the most part of your self-image, I can say, is mainly guided by how others perceive you. Okay, so you will also notice that you are not exactly the kind who appreciate being a butt of jokes or who can act the clown even for a day. Okay, so you will definitely see. what I said, that you are not exactly the kind who appreciate being the butt of the jokes or who can act the clown even for a day. Okay, you are very authoritative individuals who have Ketu in Leo and Rahu in Aquarius. Okay, and like you are the person who likes to have the final say on the things and like to be taken seriously. That could also be seen, like when you talk or you go there, so you feel that like people should take you seriously. So yeah, these things could also be seen with when Ketu is placed in Leo and Rahu in Aquarius. There is a lot of creativity when you have Rahu in Aquarius and Ketu in Leo. So Ketu in Leo give you good creativity. It make you creative individual. If you are bringing positive karma, like definitely it show that you can also understand it in this way, that if you have done positive karma in the past life, then definitely this placement of Ketu in Leo and Rahu in Aquarius will definitely give you creativity. Okay, you will also see that the evolved type among this category radiate a great deal of warmth and light to inspire and nurture those around them. That can also be seen. Okay, the light you guys carry is not the false light of ego, but outer radiance of inner knowledge and wisdom. So definitely, if it's working in a positive way, you definitely have this thing that you can guide other people, and that's what I'm talking about, the light. We can say that, like you have such a good ambience that you can just help people, you can just show people good path by your wisdom. Okay, if it's working especially in a positive way in your chart. This is one of the most explosive placement, although, as Ketu is in an extremely fiery planet sign, which is Leo. Okay, so because it is placed in the sign of Sun, Ketu is placed in the sign of Sun, and Leo is one of the most fieriest signs. Okay, so it is kind of an explosive placement, right? A lot of explosive sort of personalities are born under this placement. Okay, there could be it may also possible that some of you with Ketu in Leo and Rahu in Aquarius could have uncontrollable anger, ambition, or behavior is usually the result. Okay, so yeah, uncontrollable anger, ambition, and behavior could be the result of this placement also. Okay, it may also seen that when Ketu is placed in the Leo and Rahu in the Aquarius, such people have a strong like and dislike. It is also seen when Ketu is placed in the Leo and Rahu in Aquarius, such people have strong likes and dislikes and an almost exaggerated sense of right and wrong. Okay, you guys likes to make your own set of rules relating to how things should be. Okay, so that could also be seen. This again can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on the evolutionary stage of the of you, like, so depending upon your chart and your situation, that this can be positive or negative as well. Okay, now, so yeah, this is seen when Ketu in the Leo and Rahu in the Aquarius. So till now we talk about the Ketu in the Leo. Let's talk about the Rahu in the Aquarius also, because we are talking about the full axis. So Rahu feel completely at the home in the sign of Aquarius. Okay, as you know, Aquarius is also the sign of Rahu along with Saturn, because Rahu is also the co-ruler of Aquarius. Okay, is the ideal placement for all the eccentric, inventive, and bizarre side of Rahu. Okay, to find expression. Now Rahu in the sign of Aquarius has a revolutionary but idealistic view of things, right? You will definitely notice that Rahu in the Aquarius sign has a revolutionary but idealistic view of things. It is, however, an ideal placement for any sort of group activity. You will definitely see that when you have Ketu in the Leo and Rahu in the Aquarius, it is really good for doing some group activities. This placement help you to overcome your sense of ego or pride, and like so that you are able to, or I can say you can work with other easily. So this sign will definitely help you out in those things. It usually gives some degree of detachment, okay, from the worldly matter. That could also be seen, right? That when you have Ketu in the Leo and Rahu in the Aquarius, maybe there could be some detachment from the worldly matter could be seen. Okay, Rahu is not able to function on a purely material plane in this sign. Okay, you may also notice that although Rahu is placed in its own sign of Aquarius, when Ketu in Leo and Rahu in Aquarius, but placing in the sign of Aquarius, Rahu Dev is not able to function on a purely material plane in this sign. So outer worldly success is hard, comparatively. In my view, it is one of the most philosophical placement of a planet in a sign. Okay, so you will see more like a philosophical side of you when you have this placement, Ketu in Leo and Rahu in Aquarius. And you will definitely see that even Rahu is when placed in the sign of Aquarius, this person is a sort of philosopher, okay, of one kind or another. You will definitely see that when you have this placement of Ketu in Leo, Rahu in Aquarius, you will definitely have kind of philosophy kind of a things. Maybe you read a philosophy book, maybe you kind of a philosopher it can make you. For the present time, it is a futuristic energy which is always open to new ideas. On a material plane, this might manifest as ease in accepting and incorporating new technology. Okay, now if we talk about the spiritual plane, so on a spiritual plane it show readiness to venture into subjects like astrology, okay, astrology and others such as like tarot card reading, palmistry, reiki healing, this and that, all the occult sciences, okay, all the concepts that relate to establishing an understanding of the functioning of our universe. Okay, so guys, this is all about Ketu in Leo and Rahu in Aquarius. And now let's talk about Ketu in Virgo and Rahu in Pisces. Now let's talk about what will gonna happen when Ketu is placed in the sign of Virgo and Rahu is placed in the sign of Pisces. Is placed in the sign of Virgo and Rahu in the Pisces. So Ketu in the sign of Virgo gives a clear understanding of all the affairs which are the domain of 6th house, because if you see naturally, then Virgo represent the 6th house as per Kalpurusha Kundli. So in this position, Ketu in the sign of Virgo gives a clear understanding of all the affairs which are domain of the 6th house, which can be, we can see, health, hygiene, healing, purity, attention to detail, discrimination, discipline, routine, service, providing services, structure, order, organization, okay, and a need for perfection, right? So you will see that when someone have Ketu in the sign of Virgo and Rahu in the Pisces, such people have we can say, learn the Virgo lessons in their previous life, and as a result they have ability to put material world in order in the present life. Okay, you will definitely see that. The danger here is that they might carry their need for purity and perfection to an extreme. I'm repeating again, the danger here is that they might carry their need for purity and perfection to extreme. Although you may also notice that when Ketu is placed in the Virgo and Rahu in the Pisces, this placement can produce people who have an excessive need for cleanliness or an overcritical nature. This, the kind of person who can lose themselves in detail. Okay, so you will definitely see that detailing, this is the word you have to be keep in mind with this. Virgo, as we know, doesn't have a sense of balance, but it does have a sense of limits, right? It is an important for people who have Ketu in the Virgo and Rahu in the Pisces to use their sense of limits in all Virgo related activities. Okay, so always use your sense of limit, otherwise you will keep going into details and you will just get involved. So always have their limits, right? Keep to have sense of limit is really important, especially when you have this placement Ketu in the Virgo and Rahu in the Pisces. Now guys, see, when Ketu is placed in the sign of Virgo and Rahu in the Pisces, so Virgo is the sign mostly related to the feminine principle. Okay, you will definitely see that in most culture. So it carries the seed for any sort of enlightenment anyone is looking to achieve. Okay, you will definitely notice that we are all aware that for anything to happen on a physical and a mental or a spiritual plane, some sort of order or structure is necessary, right? So such native who have Ketu in the Virgo and Rahu in the Pisces, such native usually hold the key to this sense of order if they can get in touch with their Rahu in Pisces energy. Okay, so you will definitely notice that. So now guys, when Ketu is placed in the Virgo, Rahu is placed in the Pisces. So now Rahu in the Pisces, as we would expect, stand in an exact opposite to that of Ketu in Virgo, because we know that Rahu Ketu always 7 places of each other. Okay, so Pisces is a sign which relates to the things like all inclusive, scattered, diffusive, chaotic, illusionary, dreamy, unlimiting, fluid, creative, intuitive, mystical, inspiring, compassionate. So these things are like the we can say the sign of Pisces. These represent these things. When Ketu is placed in the Virgo and Rahu is placed in the Pisces, so Rahu placement in this sign of Pisces definitely mention that you have to develop the sides which I have mentioned till now regarding the Rahu in the Pisces. You will definitely have to develop like the keywords whatever I have discussed about the Pisces into your nature in your present life. Okay, so you have to make conscious effort to get out of the Virgo realm, okay, and take a plunge into the water of Pisces. Because see, wherever Rahu is placed in our present, like in your chart, this is where we have to move forward in our life. And wherever Ketu is placed in your chart, so you automatically experience those things in your past life. So where Ketu is in your Ketu is in Virgo, so you have to focus on the Rahu in Pisces. That's what it is all about. Okay, now this placement of Ketu in the Virgo and Rahu in the Pisces, this axis requires the native to establish a balance between these seemingly conflicting energies, right? So you're gonna have to develop somehow a balance between them. So however, you might be thinking that it's not easy to balance and to maintain balance, but this balance can be achieved. For example, let's say a musician learned to play an instrument through the order and structure, okay, in the sign of Virgo, but finally he expressed himself through the fluid creativity, okay, in the sign of Pisces. A lot of medical workers, healers, artists, mediums, psychics, people dealing with atomic energy, people working in charity and health organization, people in the film industry, and those in the pharmaceutical industry fall under this placement of Ketu in Virgo and Rahu in Pisces. Or we can say that with such placement, these professions are seen. Okay, I'm repeating again, people dealing with atomic energy, working in charity, health organization, people working, people in the film industry, okay, or in pharmaceuticals industry are also seen with this placement of Ketu in Virgo and Rahu in Pisces. So guys, this is all about Ketu in Virgo and Rahu in Pisces. Now let's talk about my beautiful girls and my handsome boys. Let's discuss now that what will gonna happen when Ketu is placed in the sign of Libra and Rahu is placed in the sign of Aries. So if you have this axis placement, then what are the result that you can expect? So guys, Ketu in the sign of scales, which is of course Libra, usually give a balanced personality to a native. So if you have this placement Ketu in the Libra and Rahu in the Aries, it make you a personality very balanced. Okay, your personality. The signification of Libra are social ability, diplomacy, harmony, grooming, judgment, business, commerce, relationships, so these things are naturally inbuilt in the native with such placement, which means that when you have Ketu in Libra and Rahu in Aries, so you will be naturally sociable, diplomatic, like of a nature, harmony, grooming, judgment, business related things and relation related things are naturally, these things are naturally inside you, whether you know that or don't you know that, but these things are naturally there. Because see, wherever Ketu is placed in our chart, we originally carry those things from our past life. Okay, all we have to do is if we give a little push to those things, so we can easily master those things or we can easily use those things. Okay, wherever Rahu is, we have to work on those things in this life, right? So you will see that. So Libra, as we know, is the most material sign, most materialistic sign among all the signs. Okay, one of the most materialistic sign we can say. So such people who have this placement, usually such people have a past life in which they had to completely immerse themselves in the worldly affairs. Okay, so in the past life, maybe you had done something due to which you just completely immersed in the world affairs. Okay, so through this past life experience, you guys have an innate understanding of three main significance of sign of Libra in the present time, which is law, sexual pleasures and money, right? So such people, when you guys have Ketu in Libra and Rahu in Aries, you guys also have an understanding of the social hierarchy on all its operating level. Okay, due to the compromising attitude carried over from the past life, you have an urge to please everyone all the time. You will definitely see that. Okay, when you have this Ketu in the Libra, Rahu in the Aries, these things are also seen. You guys have a lot of tact and diplomacy, but sometime it may also possible that sometime you take it to such an extreme, like these things like tact, diplomacy and all that, you take it to such an extreme level that no conclusion can be reached about anything. Okay, an active social life has a lot of importance for you guys. Ketu, as we know, likes to carry the past life pattern in the present life. Okay, because Ketu carry the past life things, past life present pattern in the present life as well. So such native feel at home with we can say Libran activities, like Libra type of activities, but the present life has a different script for you guys. Okay, because see, these are the activities when Ketu is in the Libra and Rahu is in Aries, these are the activities which are naturally inside you, but Rahu is the place where you will have to struggle, you will have to work and try to achieve those things. Okay, so yeah, this is like now if we talk about the Rahu in the Aries, because in this axis when Ketu in Libra, Rahu in Aries, so the positioning of Rahu in the Aries, which want you guys to jump yourself into the domain of the sign of Aries, which is what? Aries is the sign of self-awareness, initiative, taking initiative. It is independence, it is showing courage. Okay, it is innovation, it is leadership, it is decision making. Okay, it is like willfulness, impulsiveness, quickness. All these things are like Aries sign represent. So Libra is the sign that need balance and fairness on all levels of existence. It is spiritual potential line establishing right relationship on all level between people. Okay, and man, between the people and the people and the nature also. Okay, it is also the sign representing the dissolution of ego, right? You will also notice that, or we can say the sense of self, right? That could be also be seen. However, such native have to guard against completely losing their sense of self. You will also, have to understand that you guys have to guard against completely losing your sense of self, which make you directionless instead of leading to the liberation. Okay, so actually the thing is that because it is also the sign which represent that, when Ketu is in the Libra, so it also represents the dissolution of your ego, yourself. So what one advice here is for you is that you guys also have to guard against completely losing your self of sense, because if you do that, which otherwise make you guys directionless instead of leading you to the liberation. You will also have to understand that the beauty of the sign lies in the ability to see things from other point of view, okay, which is essential for gaining experience and knowledge, right? That's really amazing thing, because if you are able to see things from the different point of view, and that's what Libra's speciality, I can say, that they can see things from the different point of view. That's why you have the balance sign right there, right? So that's really good for gaining knowledge and experience. Again, the catch is that one has to have sufficient self-awareness in order to synthesize this learning. The key to this self-awareness lies in the positioning of Rahu in the Aries. Okay, you will also understand that. So when you have the Ketu in the sign of Libra and Rahu in the Aries, it will make you a person who has to learn to consciously develop the Aries quality mentioned earlier. Okay, it means that you must learn to stand alone instead of relying on the social circle. Okay, you must have to learn to stand alone. You shouldn't have to rely on the social circle. One has to start listening to your own higher self, instead of we can say relying purely on what other opinions is, what others say. So this position is telling you to listen yourself. Okay, that's what this position is telling you. That's what the thing you have to learn. Okay, you have to learn to trust your own judgment and act upon it, right? This is the most important thing you should understand. I'm repeating myself again. You have to learn to trust your own judgment and act upon it, and without getting approval from anyone around you. Okay, so whatever you think, you have to try to, because with this placement it is also seen that you guys, because of Ketu in the Libra, you guys are more dependent upon other and all that. But the thing is that you must have to learn to trust your own judgment and act upon it. Do not think that for everything you need approval of other and this and that. That's also the lesson you have to learn with such placement. Rahu in the Aries energy is all about learning to take a stand, right? Which is very foreign to we can say Libra sensitivity. Okay, so right now we are talking this thing about this full axis of Rahu Ketu. That's why we are taking sign which is, when I say Libra qualities, which means that Ketu in the Libra, and when I say the Aries thing, which means Rahu in the Aries. Okay, so you understand that yourself. Okay, so such people are usually very, I have seen that we can say that concerned about your their social image. So maybe with this placement you guys are concerned about your social image. Aries is a childlike sign which is not bothered at all by what others think. Okay, and is not interested in keeping up an image. It relates to the basic primordial urge, okay, which led to the creation of universe. It is thus a creative sign without any boundaries. That's what, this is the beautiful line. Libra, as we know, is the sign full of boundaries, as balance cannot be maintained without the sense of limits, right? That's the difference here. Now the task you guys face is to balance the we can say this Aries and Libra axis in your chart, okay, which involve establishing harmony between the self and the others. Okay, so you guys have to use your inbuilt sense of balance to attain a delicate balance between the sign of Aries and Libra. Now I know that this is not an easy task, right? but you guys have the strength, have the potential to achieve this thing. Okay, you guys have to make sure that Rahu in Aries doesn't give rise to much selfishness, and the Ketu in Libra doesn't give rise to too much of superficiality. Okay, so you have to maintain this balance between the selfishness and superficiality. That's what I'm talking about, because in this video I am talking about the full axis, so that's why, like, so that we can see the balance of energies. Right now, Ketu is placed in the sign of Libra, which is a Venusian sign, so it usually denotes that there would be some sort of talent, artistic talent, which is carried out from the past life. Okay, so you will definitely have some artistic talent which is carried out from the past life. So in the present life, this artistic talent have to be blended with the freedom, innovation, and and doing something new kind of a spirit, okay, inherent in Aries. Venus become the karmic suction control planet, while the Mars is the karmic distribution control planet for this placement. Okay, because Ketu is placed in the sign of Venus, so that's why Venus become karmic suction planet, and Rahu is placed in the sign of Mars. That is why Mars become the karmic distribution control planet. The positioning of Venus highlights the talents, okay, or I can say the latest talent, and the positioning of Mars signifies the areas where the drive and the opportunities lie in the present life, or I can say in the present incarnation. I'm repeating this line again, this is really important. The placement of Venus highlight your latent talents, and the positioning of Mars signifies the area where the drive and opportunity lie in the present life. Okay, so you have to see with this Rahu Ketu placement, you have to also see the Venus and placement, the dispositors. Okay, so that also tell you about your latent talent, Venus position, and the Mars position tell you like the areas where the drive and opportunity lie in the present life. So wherever Mars is, you're gonna have to see that yes, this is the area where opportunities are. I'm gonna have to focus on these things. So yeah, you will also see with this placement when Ketu is placed in the Libra and Rahu is placed in the Aries. Now you may also notice that this placement of nodal axis Rahu in Aries and Ketu in Libra, or I can say Ketu in Libra, Rahu in Aries, is also helpful in producing psychologists, lawyer, sex therapists, artists, explorers, models, actors, media personality, someone who do something of their own, something new, pioneers, right? Pioneers could also be seen, consultant in any field. So yeah, you will also see that, and the professions involving direct use of personality are generally favored with this placement. Okay, so yeah, these are the things that you will see when you have Ketu in the Libra and Rahu in Aries. This is all about it. If you want consultation, personal consultation, links are given in the description. Now guys, let's talk about what will gonna happen when Ketu is placed in the sign of Scorpio and Rahu is placed in the sign of Taurus. So guys, when Ketu is placed in the sign of Scorpio and Rahu is placed in the sign of Taurus, Ketu here in the sign of Scorpio has the role of Scorpion realm in one's life. It represents a past life which was spent confronting Scorpion issues like death, we can say that loss, separation, dark side of nature, regeneration, shared resources, chronic diseases, accident, sexuality, transformation, mystery, occult, metaphysics, profound thinking, research, exploration, overseas travel, strange adventure and events. Okay, these things are seen when Ketu is placed in the sign of Scorpio, Rahu in the Taurus. It is clear from the significations that I have discussed that the past life of you, when you have Ketu in Scorpio and Rahu in the Taurus, your past life have been full of learning. Okay, it is no surprise that the main concern of most of you guys with this placement of Ketu in Scorpio and Rahu in Taurus, or we can say Rahu in Taurus, Ketu in Scorpio, is like the main concern of you guys with this placement in the present life is stability. Okay, stability on mental level, material level, and also spiritual level, right? This placement of Ketu in Scorpio and Rahu in Taurus often produces hardcore materialists, okay, materialist people at one end of this spectrum, and on the other end of the spectrum you will also see hardcore spiritualist people. So this placement of Ketu in Scorpio and Rahu in Taurus produces both type of people. On one end you will see that some people are hardcore materialistic people with this placement. On one end you will see extremely spiritual people, very spiritual people with this placement. So yeah, this can produce both depending upon other factors. It is difficult to find balanced personality with this placement, okay, whether you will find very spiritual person, whether you will find very materialistic person, okay. So it is difficult to find the balanced personality with this placement. Those who completely align themselves with the material and the earthy energies of Rahu placement in Taurus represent the former, okay, while those who utilize the knowledge gain in the past life in order to expand their consciousness make up the later types, okay, which means that Rahu placement in a Taurus represent the materialistic type of people, and Ketu in the Scorpio represent the the spiritual type of people. But again, other placement of the chart etc will define you, okay, whether you go on this end or you go on that end, but definitely you will never be in the middle in this position. There are pretty high chances of that. Now Rahu in play, when plays in the Taurus, in this Ketu in Scorpio, Rahu in the Taurus, when Rahu is placed in the Taurus, it prompts the native to take interest in the Taurus realm, which is what? Which is senses, perception, refinement, luxurious taste, expression, speech, resources, desire, personal earning, ownership, property, security, stability, social prestige, logical common sense, and rationality. As we can see, if the native completely follow the Rahu dictates path, or she will end up believing in materialistic path, okay. However, if the Rahu is working through its higher principle, it produces we can say enlightened materialism, okay, which show itself as a reverence for all times. Such natives are capable of seeing the divinity inherent in matter, okay. Now Ketu in Scorpio gives you guys an interest in the realm of occult and supernatural things, occult sciences, astrology, palmistry, tarot, Reiki healing, and more than that, and the supernatural powers etc. But it is seen that you won't wholeheartedly venture into these areas until there are other supporting factors in the chart, okay. So those who do fully embrace the other side often end up solving the puzzles of existence. That is also seen with this placement of Ketu in Scorpio and Rahu in Taurus. Ketu is placed in the sign of Scorpio, and it is also said that Ketu, like in many places it also believed that Ketu is also the co-ruler of Scorpio, okay, or we can consider this as a friendly sign or like a kind of own sign as well for the Ketu. So Ketu, as we know, share co-rulership with Scorpio along with the Mars, thus it is kind of own sign for Scorpio also. So it is very intense placement, okay, which if utilized properly it can lead to transformation on a very deep level. You will notice that the secret and the mysteries of the nature's functioning are very easily revealed. Guys, Rahu here is placed in the sign of Taurus, which is a friendly sign because Rahu like Venus, so Rahu in Venus sign is very good. So however, Taurus bring out the earthly and materialistic side of the Rahu definitely, okay. So this is the most materialistic placement among all the planetary placement in different sign. So it is important to note that Rahu can function through its higher principle and give one a correct understanding of the purpose of the materialistic world and the wisdom to correctly handle the materialistic resources. That can also be seen, okay. So also guys, Mars here become your karmic sanction control planet, while Venus become your karmic distribution planet, because Rahu is placed in the sign of Venus, so it is your karmic distribution control planet. for this placement. So the position of the Mars in your chart will tell you, because Mars is karmic succession planet here. When Ketu is in the Scorpio and Rahu in the Taurus, so placement of Mars in your chart will highlight or tell you your latent talents that you carry, okay, from the past life. And the placement of Venus in your chart signifies areas where there is a drive, where there is an opportunity for you, where you have to focus. Okay, so guys, this is all about this placement of Ketu in Scorpio and Rahu is in Taurus. If you want personal consultation, you can just take it, links are given in the description. And now we will move on to our next sign. Let's see what will gonna happen when Ketu is placed in the sign of Sagittarius and Rahu is placed in the sign of Gemini. Let's talk about what will gonna happen when Ketu is placed in the sign of Sagittarius and Rahu is placed in the sign of Gemini. So Ketu in the sign of Sagittarius represent a fruitful past life. It represents that you have lived the past life, a fruitful past life, in the domain of Sagittarius. Okay, long journeys, like Sagittarius domain represent that, maybe long journeys, philosophy, inner life, foreign influences, ethical disposition, optimism, faith, luck, freedom, higher mind, initiation, self-realization. These things could be possible. So yeah, that could also be seen. It is understandable that one thing gone through a good life would have an optimistic and carefree attitude in the present life. Okay, now this in fact does hold true for most of the native with this placement. So what I'm saying, I'm just repeating again, it is understandable that one thing, like let's say one who have gone through good life in the past would have an optimistic and carefree attitude in the present life. Okay, and this in fact does hold true for most of the native with the placement of this Ketu in the Sagittarius and Rahu in the Gemini. Okay, it give a zest of life when Ketu, the most separative, contracting and detaching planet among all the planet, is working in an optimistic mode. There is not much to worry about. Okay guys, the only catch here when Ketu is placed in the Sagittarius and Rahu in the Gemini, the only catch here is that in some cases the optimism might turn into overconfidence or over expressiveness, okay, which usually lead to one's downfall. So you have to be careful for that. I'm repeating this again. When you have Ketu in Sagittarius and Rahu in Gemini, in this axis you have, like, the only catch here is that in some cases the optimism might turn into your overconfidence. Okay, if so, like, one advice I would like to give you, if you have Ketu in Sagittarius and Rahu in the Gemini, in this axis you must have to avoid overconfidence. Optimism is good, confidence is good, but overconfidence is not good, especially for you, or over expressiveness, because if that come inside you, then it may lead to your downfall. Okay, native with this placement are born to spread love, joy and freedom in the world. Okay, you may carry within yourself the Sagittarian message of respect for all life, earthly and beyond, kind of a thing. Okay, it is your function to lift the spirits of fellow human beings and give them hope. Okay, or especially give hope to the hopeless. Okay, when you have this sign, it is your things that you have to do it, because you have that ability to do that. You can give hope to the hopeless people if you have Ketu in the sign of Sagittarius and Rahu in the Gemini. Okay, this is actually, you know, a very philosophical placement. Okay, when Ketu is working through its higher principle, such people who have Ketu in Sagittarius and Rahu in Gemini, such people can possess the most all-inclusive philosophy or spiritual insight. However, when Ketu is functioning through its lower aspect, the only thing such native tend to be care about is material expansion. Okay, now with this placement of Ketu in Sagittarius and Rahu in Gemini, Ketu need some sort of communication ability to rely its Sagittarius experiences and learnings. Okay, this is provided by Rahu's placement in the Gemini. Okay, in this axis, communication ability is not exactly their forte, okay, and is something which they have to work on in their present life. So you guys have to understand this thing. Life always put you guys into a situation where you have to communicate, where you have to communicate whether you like it or not. It is seen that your communication ability increases with age when you have Rahu in the Sagittarius and when you have Ketu in the Sagittarius and Rahu in Gemini. Your communication ability also increases into with age. As soon as you grow, like with the years, you keep growing, your age grow, and your communication ability also grow when you have Ketu in Sagittarius and Rahu in Gemini. Besides communication, you have to work on other Gemini attribute. And what are the other Gemini attribute, or I can say Gemini attribute in general? Companionship, mental and physical coordination, adaptability, okay, swiftness, flexibility, duality, intellectuality, we can say, oratory skills, scientific rational thinking, and writing abilities. Okay, so you have to we can say that besides the communication, you have to also focus on these things, because your Rahu is in Gemini, Ketu is in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius traits are naturally from the past life inside you. Now you have to focus on the Rahu related things as well. Just as the opposite placement of nodal axis, Ketu in Gemini and Rahu in Sagittarius, you need to use its communication ability and other Gemini attribute to the higher learning represented by Sagittarius. Okay, this placement need to spread Sagittarian wisdom through communication and other Gemini attribute. Okay, so the things that you're carrying from the past life through Ketu, now you have to express them through the Rahu placement in the Gemini. Okay, and you do that by getting more good in communication and all that. Now, just like the opposite placement of nodal axis, this placement call for the balance between the Gemini and the Sagittarius affairs. So if you see in Kalpurusha Kundli, it is the 3rd and the 9th house axis, because Sagittarius represent 9th house as per the Kalpurusha Kundli, and Gemini represent 3rd house. Okay, so a delicate balance between materialism and spiritualism. Okay, you have to understand 3rd house is like materialism and 9th house is spiritualism, or we can say that Gemini is materialism and Sagittarius is spiritualism. Logic and faith, common sense and higher sense, etc. These are the representation of these signs need to be established. Okay, so the balance between these things must need to be established. Okay, this is the main area of struggle for you guys with this placement of Rahu in the Gemini and Ketu in Sagittarius. It is useful to remember that accomplishment exists only where struggle lies. Okay, this is a great statement. Accomplishment exists only where the struggle lies. Now, this placement of Ketu in Sagittarius and Rahu in Gemini produces writers, spiritualists, philosophers, teacher, religious leader, dictators also you may see with this. Okay, compulsive gamblers sometime if it's worked in a negative way, politicians, stockbrokers, speculators, risk takers, explorers, philanthropists, athletes, sports person. Okay, it is seen that the people with this placement of Ketu in Sagittarius and Rahu in Gemini can find happiness in almost everything what they do. Okay, and thus they are fond of working in wide variety of field, wide range of field, but these are some field that I try to discuss as per this placement. Okay guys, so guys, this is all about Ketu in Sagittarius and Rahu in Gemini. So if you want person consultation, links are given in the description. And now we will talk about what will gonna happen when Ketu is placed in the sign of Capricorn and Rahu is placed in the sign of Cancer. Okay, so guys, now when Ketu is placed in the Capricorn and Rahu in the Cancer, so Ketu in the sign of Capricorn represent a past life is spent primarily in pursuit of worldly affair. Okay, Ketu in this sign represent a past life spent primarily on the pursuit of worldly affair, and the Capricorn realm, which is karma, which is a vocation, which is like organization, which is, we can say that perfection, practical realization, concrete relationships and recognition. Okay, recognition, and these things are seen with Ketu placement over here. In the past life you may have such things. So the people you guys who have Ketu in the Capricorn and Rahu in the Cancer, you guys show a high degree of practicality, and you are willing to take up responsibility from a very early age. You may see this thing when Ketu is Capricorn and Rahu in the Cancer. You guys have a cautious approach to things, and you do not like to do anything in haste. Okay, your overall outlook on life, however, can be said to be a little pessimistic. Okay, you also show in absorbing new idea, and can be said to be on the conservative side. You usually have a hard outer personality, and there is a tendency to conceal your inner emotion. When you have this placement of Ketu in Capricorn and Rahu in sign of Cancer, so it is also seen that you have the ability to assign everything in its right full place. You understand the material world for what it is, and you perform your karma with complete non-attachment. Okay, you don't shy away from your earthly duties, and at the same time you are open to like the experiences relating to the other realm as well. Okay, so in not so evolved soul, this placement can produce staunch materialistic kind of a people who don't believe in any reality except the material reality. Okay, so you guys, if you are like not so evolved kind of a soul, in that case you are more attracted towards the materialistic kind of a thing. You may have a lot of material ambition and a driving force and a driving need to be at the center stage of the thing. So definitely if you are not evolved soul, then you might have materialistic desires and all materialistic ambition with this placement also. Now, however, you may also see that when you have, because in this axis Ketu in the Capricorn, at the same time Rahu in the sign of Cancer, so Rahu placement in the Cancer sign give you guys a different calling for this present life. Okay, because Ketu is telling you what those things that you have from the past life, and now in the present life Rahu is giving you different calling. It directs you towards the Cancerian traits or Cancerian realm, which is home life, which is family, which is maternal relationship, which is nurturing, which is property, which is psychic receptivity, which is intuition, which is emotion, which is refinement, which is peace of mind. Okay, which is inward psychology, right? And all that kind of Cancerian traits or Cancerian, we can say that Cancerian realm. Okay, Rahu will definitely push you towards these things in the present life. This means that you have to find the peace within yourself rather than looking outside in the world. You have to learn to represent your emotion and develop this softer side of your nature as well. Okay, it is seen that in the later half of your life, okay, you guys become very caring, very sympathetic. Okay, that could be possible that it, like beside material thing, maybe even if you are materialistic also, down the line in your life you may realize that somehow you will become very emotional and you will have a very caring attitude towards other. That could also be seen. Now it could also possible that you may experience heartbreak. Okay, if you persist on making a big impression in the 10th house issues like career, etc. So even when pursuing 10th house goals, because 10th house I am saying because of Capricorn sign, so wherever your Capricorn signs is naturally represent the 10th house of the Kalpurusha Kundli. That's why it's important sign for your career. That's why I am saying the 10th house. Okay, so even when pursuing 10th house goal, you are only successful if they function from a caring and humanitarian perspective. So you have to be careful for that. The transformation which you guys are required to undergo in your present life is akin to stone turning into the water. Okay, because see, from Ketu to Rahu, it's like from the past you are the Capricornian kind of a thing, because Ketu is placed there. Capricorn is a very hard stone like of placement, and now your Rahu is showing like Rahu is placed in the sign of Cancer, so you are turning from stone into the water. Okay, that's what the transformation here is. That's why down the line you will become, like in the past life you were like more practical and stone like kind of a thing. That's why Ketu is in the sign of Capricorn, because Capricorn is a hard sign. Okay, it's like a hard land surface kind of a thing. And then on the other side, in the present life, you have Rahu in the sign of Capricorn, so it's represent that you are going towards the the watering sign. Okay, so that's why stone is turning into the water. That's what I'm talking about. So now this process might sometime is not easy. So there could be something you see like in this transformation. Saturn is the karmic suction control planet, and Moon is the karmic distribution control planet. Because why Saturn is karmic suction planet? Because Ketu is sitting in the sign of Saturn, so it's the past life kind of a thing, and Rahu is sitting in the sign of Moon. That's why in this life Moon is the karmic distribution planet for you. The positioning of Saturn tell you the latent talents you have from the past life, what talent you have. Wherever the dispositor of Ketu, which is Saturn, is placed in your chart, wherever Saturn is placed, it will tell you the latent talent that you have from the past life. And wherever the Moon is placed in your chart, it will tell you where you will get opportunities in this life. Okay, you should understand that. Okay, so guys, this is all about this placement of Ketu in the Capricorn and Rahu in the sign of Cancer. I hope this helps you, and if you want personal consultation, links are given in the description. And now let's move on to our next sign, which is Ketu which is what will gonna happen when Ketu is placed in the sign of Aquarius and Rahu is placed in the sign of Leo. Let's talk about that. So guys, Ketu in the we can say humanistic sign of water bearer reveals a past life dedicated to the humanitarian and philanthropic activities. Okay, all the signification of Aquarius, which is what the signification of Aquarius are knowledge, aspiration, philanthropy, idealism, philosophy, wisdom, sharing, friendship, humanitarianism, group relationships. These things come naturally to you with this placement, because Ketu is placed in the sign of Aquarius. So Aquarius traits are coming naturally to you from the past life. Are you getting my point? So you guys are usually shy. You guys are usually shy and self-effacing in your childhood. And for some people, this may even extend up to their adult years. That could also be possible, depending upon other placements in your chart. You are, and of course the nakshatra, etc. You are the kind of people who never say no and are always ready to lend a helping hand to the other people, we can say. Most of you guys appear as a very impractical person to the other beings. You may appear as a very impractical person, but this is not generally the case. As you grow, the spotlight gradually shifts to yourself. Okay, and you become more self-absorbed. Okay, this is doing of Rahu placement in the Leo. Okay, because see, first you are from the past life, from the Ketu traits are there, because Ketu is sitting in the Aquarius, so these traits are there. But now because Rahu is sitting in the Leo, so down the line, as soon as you become older and older, your like spotlight shifted to you, on yourself, because of Rahu placement in the Leo. That's why I'm talking about in this video about the full axis of Ketu Rahu. So Rahu wants you to be a light on yourself by developing your sense of self-respect and your creativity. It wants you, Rahu wants you to explore the domain of sign of Leo. Okay, which is what the domain of sign of Leo, or like what is the signification of sign of Leo? It's self-consciousness, it's creativity, it's love, it's like the love of self and others, it's acting, it's confidence, it's leadership, it's pride, etc. Right? It's limelight. That's what Leo is all about. It's power, it's authority. Right? So with this placement of Ketu in Aquarius and Rahu in Leo, or we can say Rahu in Leo and Ketu in Aquarius, these things are also seen. And the karma of this placement is to rely the Aquarian wisdom and knowledge gained in the past life through the creative energies of the Leo. The danger here is that you, as you grow older, you become more and more self-absorbed person. You will notice the people who have, you guys, Ketu in Aquarius and Rahu in Leo, you will notice that as soon as you grow older, you become more self-absorbed kind of a person. Okay? And you will lose your ability to be useful for the others. This placement requires a delicate balance between the sense of self-concern, sense of self and concern for the others. See, actually what is happening that from the past life you are like when you born, you have this ability to help other and to this and that, so people think that you don't have practicality, this and that. But because Rahu is sitting in the sign of Leo, so definitely down the line as you grow, you will focus on the Rahu's thing, which is about which make you more like a self-centered person. So what lessons you have to learn from this placement is that you have to develop a balance, okay, between helping others at the same time becoming kind of a having a sense of self for yourself as well. Okay, do not become too much selfless, do not develop so much sense of self that you think that, oh, go to the hell, I will not help you. So that is also bad for you. So the lesson here for you is that develop a balance between the sense of self at the same time helping other, like concern for the other as well. Okay, a healthy sense of self is required for anyone to have a positive effect on one's surrounding, but at the same time an exaggerated sense of self can be can be very good for you, especially for you with this placement of Ketu in Aquarius and Rahu in Leo. Okay, now it is seen that you guys who have Ketu in Aquarius and Rahu in Leo, you guys go through two major transformations in your life. Okay, in the first one, you slowly build up your self-worth by fighting off your innate self-effacing nature, and in the second transformation, you are required to sublimate your sense of self, regain your humanitarian all-inclusive perspective. Okay, so definitely you will see these two transformation in your life. Also, a lot of evolved souls are born with this placement. I am repeating again, a lot of evolved souls are born with this placement of Ketu in Aquarius and Rahu in Leo, or we can say Rahu in Leo and Ketu in Aquarius, as it allows the unhindered spreading of positive qualities like love, joy, wisdom, knowledge. Okay, you have the capacity to simultaneously inspire confidence and install, we can say, compassion in others. Okay, so that is why like people who born with this Ketu in Aquarius and Rahu in Leo, they definitely have this ability. They are kind of evolved souls because they have this unhindered spreading of the positive qualities, and they can just boost the confidence of other by and inspire other with their thoughts and all that. That could also be seen. Now in this axis of Ketu in Aquarius and Rahu in Leo, if this axis is working through its lower plane, then of course this placement will produce some rebel people also, okay, who are people without any, they don't have any clue or cause of their life. You may notice that this placement may favor people like artists, spiritual guides, philosophers, revolutionary, social workers, philanthropists, astrologer, okay, people involved in new age activities like networkers, internet related professions, and those dealing with the electricity and advanced technology. Okay, to sum it up, this placement is common among those involved in any kind of unusual professions. Okay, I'm repeating again, any kind of unusual professions people are seen with this placement. Now guys, for this placement, Saturn become your karmic sanction planet, control planet, and Sun become your karmic distribution planet, because Ketu dispositor is Saturn. Okay, so this become your karmic sanction planet, and Rahu dispositor is Sun, so that become your karmic distribution planet. So Saturn will tell you that where is like your where are your latent talent that you carry from the past life. So wherever Saturn is placed in your chart, those are the talent that you naturally have from the past life, and wherever Sun is placed in your chart, those are the talents that those are the, I can say, sorry, not talent actually, those are the things which drive you, where you will find opportunity lie in this present life. Okay, so if you see the placement of Sun, those are the areas where definitely you will find the opportunity, and if you see the placement of Saturn, those are the areas which are the natural ability you will have. Okay, so yeah, so guys, this is all about this placement of Ketu in Aquarius and Rahu in Leo. If you want personal consultation, links are given in the description. And now we will talk about what will gonna happen when Ketu is placed in the sign of Pisces and Rahu is placed in the sign of Virgo. Now see guys, Ketu when placed in the sign of Pisces and Rahu is placed in the sign of Virgo. So Ketu in the mystical sign of fishes, which is Pisces, point that, or I can say point towards a past life which is spent in luxury or isolation. Okay, luxury or isolation, pursuing spiritual and occult realms. It show a past life which was either full of materialistic pleasure or full of spiritual experiences. The attributes of the sign Pisces, like for example, all we can say that inclusive, scattered, chaotic, diffusive, illusionary, dreamy, unlimiting, fluid, creative, mystical, inspiring, intuitive, okay, compassionate, right? These are strongly we can say imprinted on the conscious of the nature. Like these things are these all attributes of the Pisces are definitely strongly imprinted inside you, because these are the traits that you carry from your past life. Okay, now Pisces, as we know, is a dual sign dealing with the extremes. So in the same way, the behavior of you guys can touch all types of extremes. Okay, when you have Ketu in the Pisces and Rahu in the Virgo, your behavior can touch all type of extremes. This placement can produce the, like I can say, the compassionate, tolerant types, as well as the narrow-minded people or confused type of individuals. So both extreme you can see. Okay, now this depends whether the Ketu will rely the higher or the lower aspect of the Pisces. Okay, which in turn depends upon the evolutionary level of the individual. At the same time, nakshatra and other placement of the chart will also give you some idea that like whether you are like the positive side of the Ketu or the negative side of the Ketu. Okay, this placement of Ketu in Pisces and Rahu in the Virgo, this placement give the ability, this placement definitely give you guys the ability to see the bigger picture. But the positioning of Rahu in the sign of details, which is Virgo is the sign of detail, is asking you to not to lose sight of small things, right? Because Virgo represent detailing, so that's why it's asking you not to lose the sight of small thing. In the present life, you guys have to confront the Virgo realm, which is what Virgo symbolizes. Virgo realm is health, hygiene, healing, purity, attention to the detail, discipline, routine, services, discrimination, okay, structure, order, we can say that, organization, perfection. Yeah, so these are like the detail, perfection, etc. These are all the things which is like, you know, the Virgo realm, we can say. So one can imagine that the transformation can be quite painful for some of you guys, not for everyone, but some of you guys. With this placement of Ketu in Pisces and Rahu in the Virgo, transformation can be a bit painful. Although see, no matter who you are, no matter what placement you have, most of the time transformation is of course you know, gives some pain to almost all of us, right? So yeah, now this with this placement of Ketu in Pisces and Rahu in the Virgo, with this placement the struggle is basically related to balancing of 6th and the 12th house energies, or 6th and the 12th house issues. Why I'm saying 6th and the 12th house? Because in the Kalpurusha Kundali, 6th house is Virgo and the 12th house is Pisces. So which means that the Virgo and the Pisces energies, okay, balancing between these two energies are the struggle. Okay, that's what basically like I'm talking about. Since both these houses, or I can say both these signs like Virgo and Pisces, okay, are very like difficult, okay, and this become very that's why it's kind of a bit challenging placement as well. Okay, those who can find a correct balance between the Virgo and Pisces energies emerge as a savior figure for their self and for their surrounding as well. Okay, so that is the good thing about this placement as well. This placement of Rahu in the sign of Virgo and Ketu in the sign of Pisces also tell me that it provides numerous opportunity for self growth and material success in the life of you guys, but there is always some sort of a struggle involved. Now guys, this placement of Ketu in Pisces and Rahu in Virgo, this placement is full of experiences. Experiences of what type? Both material experiences as well as spiritual experiences. It is seen that following the middle path in everything is the key to attain enlightenment and liberation. Okay, symbolized by Ketu in the Pisces. Okay, you should remember this. You have to find a delicate balance between intellectualism and emotionalism. Okay, materialism and spirituality. Okay, worldly duties and we can say heavily like heavenly aspirations that you have. Okay, human laws as well as the universal law, or we can also say the morality as well as the personal freedom. Okay, in a way it can be seen as a fortunate placement as well when Ketu is placed in the Pisces. Okay, as Ketu is in Pisces, take care the spiritual side of the life, while Rahu in the Virgo take care the material side of the life. So it's kind of a balance now. So in a way it can be said to be as positive as well. It's not like that everything is negative, positive. Everything has positive, negative, but these are the positive of this placement. Okay, this placement of Ketu in the Pisces and Rahu in the Virgo favor artists. It favors intellectual people. It favor philosophers. It also favored politicians. You may also see this placement in the chart of politician maybe. It also favor media people. It also favor people working in the common everyday job and expert in their relative, or I can say respective field. That now guys, since Ketu is sitting in the sign of Pisces and its ruler is Jupiter, so Jupiter become your karmic sanction planet, karmic sanction control planet, and since Rahu is sitting in the sign of Virgo, its ruler is Mercury, so Mercury become your karmic distribution control planet. Okay, so the Jupiter placement in your chart will tell you what are the latent talents that you have from the past life. So wherever Jupiter is placed, those are the talent that you are carrying from the past life, and wherever and the Mercury placement will tell you that like the areas where the opportunities lie for you in the present life. So you see the position of Mercury to see that where you have to focus, what are the areas, like wherever Mercury is placed in your chart, those are the areas that the opportunity will lie for you, and wherever the like the Jupiter is placed, those are the latent talent that you are carrying from the past life. Okay, so guys, this is all about Ketu is in the sign of Pisces and Rahu in the sign of Virgo. I hope this video helped you. If you want personal consultation, links are given in the description below, and I will meet you in the next video on my channel. Till then, bye bye.